Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. I've come on a little bit early. I just wanted to talk about this. So, what we're talking about in this video is the Rachel Morin trial. I know I've probably caught everybody off guard with this. It's just that I saw that the opening statements were coming out. This trial, we've waited for it for such a long time, haven't we? Because it was a long time ago that poor Rachel was murdered as she was just walking on a hiking trail in Maryland in the USA, the Morin Trail, brutally murdered, allegedly, by this man. This is the man that's been arrested for it. Anyway, his trial has just begun. And it's not a public trial in the sense that cameras are not in there. But the media are in there. So the media have been reporting on it. It's literally just started. Although we don't have cameras from the trial, we do have drawings, artists' impressions. And the first thing I just wanted to say is this is the twonk here, the Victor, who's accused of killing Rachel. Now notice he's gone back to his old haircut. Because, there was that video that we watched because he's under suspicion for something else that happened right over the other side of the country. We watched the video that was thought to be him, but it didn't show his full face. But it showed his haircut, which is one of these fade haircuts. I think that's what they call them, where it's short at the sides, very short at the sides, almost shaved. They're very much in fashion. My son wears one of those haircuts. And then longer right on the top. So that's the haircut he had then. But when he was arrested, he had this sort of long hair that he'd obviously grown his hair, because he will have seen, because this was such a high profile case. And he did apparently on his devices, he had been searching for details of Rachel's murder, etc. So he knew they were looking for him, and they knew that he had this haircut. But he's not got that haircut. He's gone back to his original haircut now. So that's obviously the haircut he prefers. But he grew his hair longer to try and evade detection, I suppose, or being recognised, as he travelled around the United States and actually was apprehended in Oklahoma, which again is quite a long way from Maryland. So he had been travelling around at will, but it seems that he had been looking into, Googling. His search history on his devices is about Rachel, and we're going to look at that in a minute. Now, first of all, I want to say, apparently, because what's so sad? Rachel's daughters, her oldest daughters, because Rachel had 5 children. Her oldest daughter, I think, is 18 or 19, maybe 19. She's just had a baby herself at the end of last year. And they've had to give evidence. Imagine having to stand up in court and say, what it was like the day your mother disappeared and you didn't know where she was and you had to go looking for her at these, at that young age. At any age, it'd be horrible. Anyway, apparently it's been requested because the girls' favourite colours are pink and green, and they're going to be wearing pink and green to the courtroom. And they've asked, if anybody else wants to wear pink and green in sympathy with them. So I haven't got anything green on this, I don't think. I think they might be green, there might be little bits of green, or is it purple? But anyway, I'll be wearing pink or green every time I report on Rachel's case in sympathy with those girls. My heart breaks for them. I just can't believe that 5 children were left without a mother, and sort of torn asunder as a family, really, because they didn't all have the same father. So they've not all been able to go and live in the same place, whereas before they were living together, I believe. So just horrible. This is what this man has done. Not only he's taken Rachel away from this world, and it seems like Rachel was a very good person. He has, split a family. These sort of things, the ripples that go out from these atrocities. Now, I should say allegedly, of course, allegedly, because his defence, the other reason I wanted to come on and talk about this now, is the defence has already started making me angry. Just the things that they're saying just in the opening statement. Oh, hang on, don't let me forget me. I put a tea bag in my tea, and don't forget to take it out. Yeah, already. How could? Honestly, I don't know these defence attorneys sleep at night. I know everyone's entitled to a defence. I understand all that, but when they start attacking the victim, making comments about Rachel's appearance, because Rachel's a very attractive woman, it's like it's a vice or something. You shouldn't be attractive. You shouldn't dress up nice. You shouldn't, look as best as you can. Rachel was a grown woman. She was entitled to do what she wanted. How dare they sort of make these comments? She was an attractive woman. So what they're going to try and say is not only Victor would have, Victor is innocent. It could have been some other man who fancied Rachel, I suppose, or stalked her or whatever. Even though he had his DNA all over her, they're going to try and say that. They're going to try. They're making it. Oh God, I'm so angry already. They're going to sort of try and suggest that also, of course, her boyfriend at the time. They're going to make some, because apparently they had relations that day. They're going to try and make some, they're going to try and do all sorts of horrible things, aren't they, to try and get their client off. And, the family have got to sit through that. Not only sit through listening to all that, they've got to sit through hearing the gruesome details, looking at the crime photos. It's disgusting. It really is. I know it's a trial and it's necessary, but I bet they can't wait for it to be over with, as I can't wait for it to be over. I just want to see the back of this man, as I'm sure the family do. Just see the back of him, never have to look at his face again, hear his name again. But anyway, that's if he's found guilty, of course. I'll just say a quick hello to people coming in. Hi, Lorna. Hi, Amethyst. Hi, Fluffy Bunny. Hi, Yvonne. So thank you for being... Oh, hi, Kelly. Thank you for being there and caring about Rachel. I am going to cover every little bit of this case that I can. I wish it was a filmed trial. I would be on that live stream, but showing it all the time. But it's not. But it's supposed to last 2 weeks, which I think is quite short for a trial. But I just can't see. It is a bit of a slam dunk as far as I'm concerned. Once you've got the DNA and all this, that and the other, I can't see that... hi Tracy. I can't see that this can be any other verdict but guilty. But anyway, they've got to go through the trial, whatever. So let me tell you what's happened so far. Right, first of all, I want to show this. This is a video where Rachel's ex-partner and the father of her oldest child, Faye, Matt McMahon, he has come into our chat, and I just want to show you what he had to say before the trial.
Murder case gaining national attention.
But she's calling her Morin. Why can't she call her Rachel? I honestly do not understand why these journalists do this. To me, it's so disrespectful. Her name is Rachel, not Morin. That's just very disrespectful. But they do it all the time, this mainstream media. Yeah, they've put all these security cameras up now. Of course, it's too late for Rachel, but hopefully it make other people feel safer. But I think also what what sort of attracted so much attention about this case, certainly in America, but internationally as well, and certainly attracted my attention immediately, is because Rachel was doing something so ordinary. You know, going for a walk on a nature trail that she'd walked on ever since she was a little girl. You know, lots of people around. It wasn't as it, you know, it's not, she wasn't, you know, walking at 4 o'clock in the morning in dark and dangerous streets. So even that she should be able to do. We should all be able to do that, but we know we can't. This is a place where Rachel would have felt safe. And it's such an everyday activity that people do, going out walking with their dogs, without their dogs, cycling, walking, running, whatever. And it's like the Samantha Murphy case. It's like Nicola Bulley. Well, you know, that's not Red Rum, of course. But, you know, when things happen to people, when they're doing ordinary things, I think they always resonate more, don't they?
2020.
Yeah, because so the other reason it's captured national attention, of course, it was used as a propaganda tool, more or less, by Donald Trump, because this man came in from El Salvador, where he'd already killed somebody, but he came in, you know, he sneaked in, he didn't, you know, it wasn't that it was allowed in, even though he had this warrant out for his arrest. He just kept trying to sneak over the border until finally he did, and caused havoc in Los Angeles, first of all, and then off he went to Maryland and caused even more havoc there. And then he was in Oklahoma, and, you know, hopefully he did not hurt anybody else in the meantime, but who's to say whether he did or not? And it may be just not has come to their attention. But they do have his DNA, because when this is the video from the home invasion and RAPE that he did on a young girl in Los Angeles. And this is the video that we were shown of him coming out of the house as cool as a cucumber, with his shirt off, where he just assaulted a young girl. And but he'd left his baseball cap there. And this is how we know about this haircut that he had. You know, I don't know if you remember, but we were looking at it and thinking maybe he was in the services. You know, because it's a very sort of precise, but it is a fashionable haircut. Anyway, of course, that's not what his hair was like when he was arrested. He'd let it grow to try and look different. But anyway, this video was released, but you cannot see his face. You can only see the side of him, his profile, his back, where he looked bigger in this than he is. He's just a little midget, really, but he is quite broad. And in this, because of the CCTV, the, you know, like the fishbowl lens or whatever they call it, I think he did look bigger than he was. So I don't know if he'd ever have been caught from this. Rachel.
I see this as an opportunity.
So yeah, Rachel's current boy. This is Rachel's ex-partner and the father of her oldest child, Faye. But her current boyfriend, he was giving evidence today. We're going to see what he had to say. You know, and it was horrible for him at the time, because there was a lot of, as there always is, you know, first couple of days, etc., or first couple of weeks, really, until this came out about the DNA on her from, you know, they had from another case. He was under suspicion, as, you know, intimate partners are always under suspicion, aren't they? First of all, that is just the way it is, you know, because statistically, it's normally more likely to have been either an intimate partner or an ex-intimate partner. I'm sure Matt was questioned and, you know, asked for an alibi, etc., because that's what, it's very unusual for someone to be killed by someone they don't know. It's really, really, believe it or not, sometimes you think, oh my God, but, you know, people are getting killed left, right and centre because we look at true crime, you know, you're bound to sort of end up thinking that. But it's actually really rare for someone to be killed by a stranger. People normally are killed by somebody that they know. That's just a statistical fact. So the current boyfriend and probably any ex-partner she'd had all came under. Definitely what I'll be doing, I'll be wearing pink and green anytime that I'm talking about Rachel's trial. I'm just going to put a comment here, I have to, because it just drives me mad. They do it all the time, not only with Rachel, with all the things, just drives me absolutely batty. So I have to have my little comment about it, my little objection. Okay, so let's see what's happened so far. This is, I think, the Telegraph. Is it? Oh, the Independent. So Rachel Morin was RAPD'd and red-rummed on the running trail by an illegal migrant who had killed before, the court hears. So it has been mentioned then that he's killed before. I wasn't sure if they would be allowed to say that in court, but of course most people probably know. Remember how many times we watched this video of him just coming out of that house? Gosh. Oh, this was when the murder suspect was formally indicted. I think we'll watch
the
this
Harford County
video.
Sheriff's Office has been working around the clock to get justice for Rachel Morin and hopefully bring peace to her family. Since that first day, over 300 community tips have flooded our inboxes and emails. Her death has grabbed local, state, national, and international headlines, everyone with the same goal: find the killer and bring justice to Rachel. In Rachel's case, DNA evidence was collected by our Forensic Services Unit. That DNA was analyzed by the Maryland State Police, and it was ran through the National CODIS system. This DNA evidence has come back as a match, tied to a home invasion and an assault of a young girl in Los Angeles this past March. Unfortunately, that suspect has not been positively identified, but he did leave behind his DNA. Based on the DNA evidence, we consider the individual in the video we obtained from the Los Angeles Police Department and that we are about to show you on our TV screens to be the person that murdered Rachel Morin on August 5th.
Okay, so I don't know. Hang on, I don't want to carry on with these. I don't know if you remember, but when that was
IP addresses for sale.
Sorry, it's just going from video to video. When that video was released, and they said they had the DNA, I think everyone thought, "Oh God, this guy's going to be caught really pretty quick." No, it was a long time afterwards before he was finally caught. But and I'm sure some of the family were giving up hope. Where was this guy all this time? Where was he sleeping? How was he feeding himself? What was he doing? Anyway, so eventually he was found. He was traced and he was arrested in Oklahoma, of all places. So this is what happened in the opening arguments this morning. So what they heard was that Maryland, mother of 5, Rachel Morin, was brutally RAPD'd and red-rummed while out jogging in 2023. So in August this year, it'll have been 2 years. I'm sure it feels like just yesterday to the family, etc. But 2 years, gosh, that we've covered it right from the beginning. So they described Rachel's, they're doing it as well. This is the Independent doing it. Morin's like, oh God, honestly, I feel like I'm just shouting into the wind over this. Why do you even have to tell somebody to use the victim's first name? It's like, oh God, it's like a parallel universe. So he's facing first-degree murder and RAP charges, and he could be. So his maximum sentence that he's facing is life without parole because there is no death penalty in Maryland. So the jury was told that on the evening of August the 5th, Rachel left her home for a jog on August the 5th. And never returned. The 37-year-old's body was discovered the following day just off the trail in Bel Air, Maryland. And after a 10-month-long nationwide search, Martinez Hernandez was arrested in June 2024 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This was brought about by using investigative genetic genealogy to track down family members and later match his DNA to the crime scene. So this was helped by DNA. And this case has captured national attention because of the undocumented status of Martinez Hernandez, who is from El Salvador, and his connection to prior violent crimes. And this trial is set to last until April the 16th. So it was a mother's worst nightmare. During opening statements on Friday, Hartford County's state's attorney, Alison Healy, walked the jury through the tragic case she described as a mother's worst nightmare. She said Rachel went to the Morin Trail around 6:58 on August the 5th and was never seen again. That place that she loved so much ended up being the place she lost her life at the hands of this defendant. She went on to say that the Hartford County Sheriff's Office received more than 1,000 tips, which led them to an apartment in Temple Hills, Maryland, where Martinez Hernandez's family members provided investigators with a photo, his Facebook profile. I've got all his Facebook things screenshot, and phone number the Baltimore Banner reported from the courtroom. And DNA collected from his belongings matched what was found on Rachel, bless her. So he was later arrested in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and when investigators analysed his cell phone, they found that he had searched for Belle and Air, Rachel, and a misspelling of Morin, Healy said, and also cached images and YouTube videos about about Rachel. Oh my God, he might have had my videos on there. That's really spooky, isn't it? So he's been searching for news about Rachel, all the time. So, hi, David. So, yeah. Oh, gosh, that is. I wonder if he had seen any of my videos. Well, I hope he did, because he won't have heard me speaking very well about him, that's for sure. So, gosh. So this is what the defence now are going to come out with, and this is what is really angering, isn't it? The defence claims that Rachel Morin attracted male attention. So that's obviously something not allowed, is it? You're not allowed to attract male attention, or what does that mean? She deserves to get murdered, did she, because she was attractive? I mean, she certainly is a striking woman. Now, I think at the time, that Sheriff Gaylor, he thought it was possible that Rachel had been, that this Victor had stalked Rachel, that he'd seen her there, because he was living there in that area for quite a while, and Rachel used to walk on that trail regularly. And you heard that other woman earlier, one of the people who lived in the vicinity, saying that she'd seen Rachel on the trail. She was a person that you would remember. If you saw her, she was very distinctive. I'm sure when she went out walking, she wasn't all, glammed up, etc. I don't know what she was wearing that day. But it's possible, isn't it? She is an attractive woman. It's very possible that this man might have seen her before, laid in wait for her. But that's not been determined. I mean, it's also possible that, you know, he was just there waiting for someone, you know. And unfortunately for Rachel, she was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and she came along at a time when he could see it. I think he was waiting at a point where you could see both ways of the trail. You could see if there was anyone coming or not. And he may have even waited there for her before, or for someone else before, mightn't he? And they just never had the right opportunity where there was nobody coming each way along the trail. You know, there's so many possibilities. Only he knows that, and he's God. You know, and he's not going to say, is he? Was that just, you know, one time that he was there and he just sort of struck lucky, if you like, or had he been sort of casing out that area? I think he seemed to know the area, because he took Rachel to this storm drain where he would be not, you know, once she was in there, that was it. Whether he lured her there or dragged her there, I'm not sure. This might come out at the trail. You know, how did he get her off the main trail? Did he overpower? I mean, she's not very tall, Rachel, but she was fit and healthy. You know, he's not exactly, you know, a great big guy, is he? But, you know, at the end of the day, take someone by surprise. You know, did he literally take her off that trail? Or did he entice her off the trail in some way? You know, I don't know. There's a lot of things that people could say, isn't it? Say, oh, you know, my friend's hurt or whatever, or, you know, that my dog's gone missing. There's lots of ways you could entice a nice person like Rachel off the trail. And unfortunately, then by the time somebody realizes what's happened, it can be too late, can't it? So these defence attorneys are arguing that he was not the man who committed the crime, and went so far to claim that Rachel had attracted male attention. I just, honest God, I'm so angry. It's just like, you know, oh God, I can't even speak. I'm so angry. Anyway, hi Kaz. How dare they? How, you know, anyway. Never mind. Oh, I know it's their job. I know it's the defence's job to defend their client, but I don't think they have to, you know, say things like that. But anyway, never mind. So Rachel Morin was brutally murdered. That this was a horrible tragedy, said Assistant Public Defender Sawyer Hicks, one of Martinez Hernandez's attorneys, in his opening statement. But Mr. Martinez Hernandez is not the man that committed this offence. So why is his DNA all over it then, I wonder? How they're going to get away with that. So the defence also questioned the motive and said there are many unanswered questions. Oh, God. The motive, obviously, it was SEX. What? Question what motive? That is the motive. Anyway, he's doing his job. Hopefully the jury will not, you know, get taken in by this. So he went on to say this was not a crime committed by a complete stranger. This was someone who had a grievance, someone who wanted to humiliate Rachel Morin to the greatest extent possible. So he's casting shade on Rachel's boyfriend, or maybe any of her ex-partners or whatever. He's trying to cast shade on other people. To me, that's the only defence they've got, really. They have no defence. I know he's struggling to find a defence, but, you know, to cast suspicion on Rachel's partner or ex-partners is just disgusting, I think. So who is Victor Martinez Hernandez? Said he has been living in the US. He's from El Salvador, and he'd been living in the US illegally since February 2023. He is believed to have killed a woman in El Salvador, and in January 2023, before crossing into the USA, where he attacked then a 9-year-old girl and her mother during a home invasion in Los Angeles. So yeah, I mean, he's a nasty piece of work. He definitely is. He has connections in Washington, D.C., Virginia and Prince George's County, Maryland, and he has ties to known gangs. Victor Hernandez did not come here to make a better life for himself or his family. He came here to this is what Sheriff Jeff said, my Sheriff Jeff. He came here to escape the crime he committed in El Salvador. He came here and murdered Rachel, and God willing, no one else. Hopefully no one else. Who was Rachel Morin? Rachel Morin, a mother of 5 who lived in Harford County, was out for a jog when she was dragged from the trail, RAPD'd and murdered. Bless her. You know, she is a beautiful woman, but apparently she was beautiful inside as well as outside. A community in Morin gathered to honour her memory following her death. According to a programme distributed at the memorial, Rachel was a fitness enthusiast who lifted weights and participated in marathons. She loved fashion and enjoyed travelling. Let's have a look at the photos. Oh, that's her brother. That's her brother. She had quite a big family. Yeah, that's him. That's the day when he was arrested. That's his photo when he was arrested. It's Rachel, of course. Yeah. So, yeah. How do I get back where I was now? Huh. Yeah. So she was a dedicated mother of 5 children. She's now a grandmother because her oldest child has now had a baby. So she would be one of those glamorous grandmas, wouldn't she? Aged 8 to 18 years old, the children are being taken care of by their fathers and other relatives, according to Joseph Murtha, an attorney representing Morin's family. Her mother, Patty Morin, said she owned a cleaning company and worked hard to support her family. She loved to exercise and spent a lot of time on the Ma and Pa Heritage Trail. And Patty went on to say, we actually lived a block away from the trail for over 10 years when they were younger, and as a family, we would go there every day. I always told Rachel to never go on the trail alone. That's what her mum says. Even though it's safe, just don't do that. And then her brother gave this emotional speech at the Republican convention. I don't like, it was used as a propaganda thing for the Republicans, all this anti-immigration thing. But there's no evidence that, he could have been stopped going over the border, because he didn't go over the border in an open way, went over the border sneakily. Could it have been stopped? I don't know. But anyway. So he said Rachel, a joyful, accomplished athlete and mother of 5, was RAPD'd and murdered by a suspected illegal immigrant. And he said my sister's death was preventable. And that will always be a moot point, won't it, at the end of the day? But, you can see why they would become emotional about that. You can understand that. So, okay. Now I'm going to show you. So this is Fox News. Oh, where's it gone? Now they've, as I say, it's not an open trial where there are cameras, unfortunately, because I would like to see him squirm in there. But this particular article, there are a lot of sketches. Let's have a look at them. I don't think this is the courthouse where it's being held. I think this is an old court, the old courthouse. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The interesting things are these pictures. So that's a sketch of the Twonk and his lawyer. This is a sketch of, I think this must be Rachel's boyfriend because he's been speaking. Now, Victor, he is, receiving this, what's the word I'm looking for? Interpreting through his ear, because of course he claims he doesn't speak English. I personally don't believe that, because when I was watching him being arrested, he definitely understood what the police were saying. He just pretended that he didn't. But maybe he's not, obviously English isn't his first language. So maybe, perhaps he speaks English, but just not very well. So these are, drawings of what's going on in the courtroom. So let's see what it's got to say on here. So opening statements and testimony. Well, people began to gather at the Hartford County before 9 a.m. for the proceedings. We won't go through the case over and over again. But anyway, so the state's attorney said that Rachel, they're doing it again. Lord, they're doing it as well. How difficult is it to use somebody's name? Fuck's sake. Sorry, excuse my French, but just unbelievable. Anyway, she said that Rachel went to the Morin Trail around 6:58 p.m. on August the 5th and stopped responding to texts shortly after. I mean, I just can't imagine how it was for those girls, for her daughters. You're 1 minute you're texting your mum, probably talking about plans or something, and then just nothing. Just nothing. Awful, isn't it? To think about it, those poor young girls, what they've sort of gone through is sad, isn't it? So, what happened there? God, I hate it when there you go. So officials said that the data from Rachel's watch and phone show that sometime between 7:04 p.m. and 7:10 p.m. Rachel was killed. So you've got this 6-minute window, and that comes from a watch. So it'd be one of those watches. I don't know if it's an Apple Watch or what kind of watch it is, but it seems like it's one that registers strange things happening, and then it seems like maybe it didn't sort of react after 7:10, and that's how the police knew she was dead by then. Authorities said her body was found in a storm drain after she'd been brutally beaten. So this is somebody that must be there at the trial, a reporter. Opening statements just wrapped up. The state's Atty walked jurors through the case, calling this a mother's worst nightmare. And really, it's just repeating what we've just read. This is what's come from their reporter. And they said that officials were able to track down DNA from clothes and other belongings. And the DNA matched what was found on Rachel. He was arrested in Tulsa. And the investigators found photos of Rachel and web searches related to her and her death on his phone. But he is claiming he was never in Maryland. Wasn't him. He was never there. He was never in Maryland, according to him. God. Hope the jury don't sort of fall for it. Well, I doubt very much that they will. Thing is, you can't argue with DNA evidence, really, can you? So now the defense attorney poses several questions. What is the motive? He says this is a crime of passion. He asks where the connection between Right, fuck off. Right, I'm getting really angry now. So he gets his first name. Yeah, Victor, and she gets called Morin. So he gets called he gets the respect of getting his first name spoken, and Rachel doesn't. Oh my God, I'm going to find this woman on Twitter or X or whatever, and I'm going to tell her. Just makes me sick, honestly. Anyway, she asks, where's the connection, or the defense attorney asks, where's the connection between Hernandez and Rachel, and where is Richard Tobin's DNA? And that's Rachel's boyfriend. Oh God. Who they say admitted to having sex with her the day she died. They're going to try and say it was him, aren't they? They're going to try and say it was him, even though Hernandez's DNA is all over her. Because obviously her boyfriend's DNA is going to be on her, isn't it? Obviously. Now, my heart is breaking now for these kids, because during testimony, Rachel Morin's daughter took the stand and cried while recounting the events of the day her mum went missing. Tobin, which is Richard, her boyfriend, also took the stand and said that when Rachel had stopped responding to texts, he got worried and he proceeded to go over to her home, the trail, and nearby restaurants in search of her. He said he called 911 when he couldn't find her, and he testified that he talked with police officers on the night of Rachel's death and even went to the station. He said that he freaked out, screamed and cried when he found out that Rachel had died. And he said that he provided authorities with his phone and DNA when he was asked. He would have immediately been suspected, wouldn't he? It was all over social media. They was, you know how nice social media can be. They were all accusing him. Hey, just the thought of her daughter crying in the stand. So Rachel's family was amongst those in the packed courtroom today, and after the testimony, a lunch break was taken and court is expected to be back in session at 2:15, which it is 2:15 now, or it's more than 2:15 now. It is now 20 to 4 in Maryland, so I'm just going to see if there is, let me just put some windows down, see if there's any more news. Let's see. Oh dear. It's awful. It's awful that those girls have got to stand up in court and talk about their mum, being murdered. Horrible, 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 horrible. And he could have spared them that. It's already bad enough what he's done, but he could have spared them that by pleading guilty. But oh no, he's not pleading guilty. It wasn't him. He wasn't even in Maryland. So God knows. So obviously his DNA must have, I don't know, what did it do? Fly over to Maryland. Okay, we've got a little update here. Let's have a look at this video.
Jury selection is set to begin today in the trial of the illegal immigrant accused of killing Rachel Morin.
Oh no, this was the other day.
Running with the law. He's accused of killing another woman in El Salvador and other brutal.
No, that video was the other day with the jury selection. So this is what we've heard today, or they've heard today in America, in Maryland, in the courtroom. Community members discovered the 150-foot blood trail leading to Rachel Morin's lifeless body on a hiking trail. So it sounds like he dragged her. He'd already attacked her when he dragged her by the sound of it. But as volunteers helped police search for the Maryland mum, opening remarks revealed in the long-awaited trial for her accused migrant killer. Opening statements began Friday morning at the Harford County Circuit Court in Bel Air, Maryland, for the trial of Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez. Now, don't forget, he's only 23, this guy. He looks much older, of course, but also, again, he's one of the, look at him, looks about 40. You know, he's one of these people that you just at 23 and he's already killed 2 women and attacked another. He's a fledgling serial killer. Thank God he was caught so quickly, because how many other women would he have attacked? He wasn't going to stop, was he? You know, as soon as he got away with it, you know. 23 years old. I bet his mum's really proud of him. So Rachel's family members, including her mother Patty, were seen arriving at the courthouse on Friday. Martinez Hernandez is accused of raping and killing Rachel, a Harford County mother of 5. So this is Rachel's mum here on the right-hand side, Patty, and this is one of her sisters, Rebecca and Patty, arriving at the courthouse. So I expect they'll be staring him down. So yeah, Rachel was reported missing after she didn't return home from some evening exercise. And Harford County State's Attorney Alison Healy said concerned community members had gone along the walking trail after seeing missing person posters on Facebook, and along the creek line they found a trail that resembled a deer trail with flattened leaves before finding rocks with blood on them. And the pair walked through 2 tunnels with overgrown brush where they found Rachel's body. Now, remember, we watched, it was that guy was called Michael, wasn't it? We watched JLR went off to interview the guy Michael, whose daughter had found Rachel's body in that tunnel, hadn't she? I don't know if you remember that interview, and I need to sort of dig that out maybe. It might be interesting to watch it again. He was a funny guy, wasn't he? Because he was quite defensive. Wasn't he? And you know, suspicion was on him, but it seems you know, it seems that he wasn't. You know, he's not guilty of anything, but he came over a little bit. I thought he came over a little bit suspicious, but anyway, he wasn't. Maybe he just felt uncomfortable talking to a YouTuber. I don't know what it was, but it was his daughter who actually found the body, wasn't it? It was Michael's daughter who found the body. Maybe I'll try and find that in a minute, that interview. Just so long ago now. It's, you know, nearly 2 years ago. So they then rang 911. Authorities retraced the path after where her body had been dragged after her brutal rape and murder. So are they saying that it happened and then she was dragged and hidden? No, it's not very clear. Police also collected large bloody rocks that authorities say she'd been bashed with. Bless her. So those kids, her older kids, and her family, you know, everyone who loved Rachel's had to sit and listen to all that. Healy said that Rachel's right shoe and socks had been left on, and her left shoe and socks had been discarded. She noted that Rachel's bra had been pulled over her breast, bless her. So this is the courthouse. Yeah, it's not that other courthouse that they were showing. It's a newer courthouse. So this is Erin Morin Lehman. She's a half-sister of Rachel's. And that's her arriving at the courtroom. So Healy said that the defendant, Martinez Hernandez, forced Rachel against the tunnel wall and RAPD'd her. Evidence revealed that the brutal assault had taken place between 7:04 and 7:10. That'd be the watch. Authorities discovered her phone submerged in the water, completely shattered, along with her destroyed Apple Watch. Nearby, they also found her Apple AirPods. So, we've talked about this, haven't we? When you're walking, really, you should not be listening to music. You need to be aware of your surroundings. You should be able to. You should be able to wear your bloody Apple AirPods or whatever, and listen to music. You should be able to do whatever you like. But unfortunately, you can't. You've got to be alert, very alert to your surroundings, any noises. Did he creep up on her? That's a possibility as well. So autopsy results revealed that Rachel had endured 15 to 20 blows to the head and had died from a combination of strangulation and blunt force trauma. Her death was officially ruled a homicide. Her body bore bruises around her neck, and according to Healy, a DNA profile matched Martinez Hernandez. I just don't know. How's he going to argue with the DNA? How is he going to argue with the DNA? And this, of course, we watched a little bit of it. See how long this video is. If it's a short video, we'll watch this again. I love to see him being I loved it when they walked in and he's just sat up there at the bar. These people are probably thinking, oh God, what the hell's going on? What are the police here for? And Victor the Viper is just sat up at the bar having a beer as if he's not really a double murderer and an RAPIST. I do like watching this when he gets arrested because they just walk up to him and, he didn't have a clue. It's funny, isn't it? These people that are standing outside, they don't even look that sort of surprised that the police are there. Maybe it's a place where they get a lot of police going. I don't know. But yeah, in they go, and there he is, sat up at the bar, not a care in the world, having a beer. I wonder if somebody had said he was there. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? If somebody had said, look, they're all off, the rest of them, they're like, they don't want to get involved. They might be legal as well. Look at him. He's a midget, isn't he? Little midget. But he's got broad shoulders. Probably if he's working in construction, he's probably quite strong, isn't he? He has got a broad back. He's got a broad back. There you go. Oh, it's so satisfying to see. All that time he was on the run enjoying himself. Finally, they caught up with him.
Right. Any ID? No. Juan Carlos. ¿Ah? Juan Carlos. Juan Carlos. Ah.
¿Su nombre?
Juan Carlos. Juan Carlos.
Fecha de
Juan
nacimiento.
Carlos.
2001.
Write it down.
When she asks nombre, what's your name in Juan Carlos? He understands English, this guy.
Su nombre? October 21st. Smile.
Thing is, they know exactly who he is.
That's it. One Carlos.
Juan Carlos.
Look at him smile. 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 Two stuck together. That's him. That's him. Yeah, quite a bit.
So he can't say anything because then
What's your
they
real name,
know that he speaks English.
Su nombre.
Juan Carlos.
No.
You know, so he's not going to object about being
Antonio?
arrested or being
Antonio.
handcuffed because then he'd have to admit that he spoke English.
Juan Carlos.
He's lying about his name. That's him. I mean,
Salt man.
I'm gonna take his Echoes album.
It was such a good night that night because, you know, somebody messaged me and said that he'd been arrested, but I couldn't say anything about it until it had been announced publicly. It was such a good feeling. Such a
I
good
told him, I
feeling.
said, he's probably going to be in that house right there. That same house where he pulled out of, I said, hey, it's not in there, but it still pings to here. Which means it's not.
Anyway, we've watched this a couple of times. I just like watching it again, but we'll go back to the article now. So look, this is what happened on June the 14th, 2024. The authorities pinged his cell phone and responded to a bar in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's interesting. Is that how they found where he was? He eventually admitted his identity after initially lying to the police and providing a false name. And when the authorities searched his phone, they said they discovered internet queries for Belair and Rachel, including a misspelled version of Rachel's name, along with images of Rachel and media coverage related to the investigation. And he repeatedly told authorities he had never even been to Maryland, only Texas and Oklahoma. And Healy said, "You will," this is his, the prosecutor, she said, "You will be convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that all of it is the defendant's DNA. I'm certain you will be convinced he had a plan to grab her off the trail and conceal her in the tunnel. He drug her in there, he bashed her in the head, he disrobed her and left his DNA." He's not very clever, is he? If he let you know, he could have used a condom. So, you know, I mean, this is what I mean. He's one of them, isn't he? He's one of them. I mean, he has been clever in a way because he escaped detection for so long. But he left his DNA. He left his DNA at the other place. You know, so he's not a criminal mastermind, is he? She went on to say, "You will be convinced he left her there and fulfilled a mother's worst nightmare." But not only a mother's worst nightmare, but a child's worst nightmare, isn't it? This is her boyfriend, Richard, leaving tributes to her, and he put this on his Facebook, bless. Anyway, defense attorney Sawyer Hicks, representing Martinez Hernandez, used his opening statement to cast doubt on the DNA match. Oh, good luck with that, Sawyer, and suggests the incident was a crime of passion. So in other words, he's saying that a boyfriend did it. He reiterated that the state has the burden of proof, noting that his client is presumed innocent until proven beyond reasonable doubt that he killed Rachel. And he said, when you retire to deliberate, we are confident you will see there is reasonable doubt in this case. Whatever. Whatever. Look, I know he's got to have a fair trial. But what reasonable doubt is there? I'm just wondering what the hell he's going to come up with. I honestly am. So he said that Martinez, Hernandez and Rachel were strangers, and he appeared to be laying the groundwork to cast suspicion on her then boyfriend, Richard Tobin. He challenged the jury with pointed questions. Where is the motive? Where is Richard Tobin's DNA? But Richard has never been accused of any wrongdoing in the case. This was from his Facebook in a relationship with Rachel on August the 1st. So he had to go onto Facebook and deny that he had anything to do with it. Anyway, he took the stand on Friday, sharing that the pair had talked for about 5 months before he asked her to be his girlfriend, just 5 days before Rachel's murder. And after she failed to answer his repeated text messages and phone calls, worry began to set in. He shared that his first thought that she was cheating on him. Oh, God. That's not very nice, really, is it either? But anyway, somebody messaged me on Facebook and said they had found her. He said, I freaked out, I cried, I screamed. So, right. So these are some photos of the initial search. Okay, so I'm going to see if there's any more news. That was the news before the break. They were before the lunch break. I'm going to see what else is coming up. Bye, Amethyst. That is a bit dramatic, isn't it, Kelly? What, you didn't receive a reply to a text message? Oh, she must be cheating on me. I don't know what I would think straight away. It depends, I suppose. If they were a person who normally answered their text messages, some people don't answer them straight away, do they? If it was someone who normally does, I think I would be worried, to be honest. But also you think, well, maybe she'd be driving, because maybe she was on her way home. Maybe she got chatting to someone. There's all different things. There's all different things, isn't it? The reasons why someone might not answer. And yeah, if it went on, if you certainly, I don't know anyway. Hi, Rini. Oh, that's sweet. Hi, Spanish classes. Give him my email, Rini. Or do you mean the... VickyMarieChats@gmail.com is my email. You could email me there and I can give him the details. Or do you just mean the YouTube channel? If you just mean the YouTube channel, this is my Spanish YouTube channel, but I do mainly crime on it these days. Don't do much Spanish on it. But there's a lot of videos on there already that are from Spanish, but never get around to do Spanish videos anymore. I'm always doing the crime, but it seems popular over there as well. So, okay, so I'm just going to have a look and see if there's any more news. Whatever happened after the break. So of course, because it's in America, it's nighttime for me, but I don't want to miss any of it. Statement. Let's have a look at News Nation, because they're normally quite good. Oh, they haven't gone any further than what I've already said yet. They're not saying any more. Can't see anything new on there. Let's see if there's any. There will be probably some things out. I might have to do them tomorrow though. Can't see anything. There will be things, but I'm sure other things have happened since the break, the lunch break. Anyway, I might have to wait for tomorrow for that. Can't see anything at the moment. So I will see you soon as I have any more news. I'll be back to see this, to talk about it. As soon as there's any more news. Probably not till tomorrow morning now, though. I don't think I'll be back on tonight. It's late for me now. It's, well past my bedtime. But anyway, listen, thank you for caring about Rachel. It's very important that this trial, I will be following this trial. I don't know Rachel, and I don't know her at all, but feel like I know her. I've followed her case so closely, and just want to see justice for Rachel. So, okay. Hi, Laurie, and bye. Yeah, you got. Yeah, I'm doing the Sunday thing. Yeah. Now remember, it's Sunday morning, so it's Sunday morning, not Sunday evening. Well, I haven't decided what to call it yet. It's all tomorrow. I will decide. And I'll put a notification out probably tomorrow for that. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be wearing pink and green again because for Rachel's trial. So one of the things that I'm going to be, we're going to be lighting a candle for is the successful conclusion to this trial, and also, for her daughters who've had to go through that, because of that horrible twonk. Anyway, take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. And what have you got to do? Look after you, because you are the most important person. And yeah, I'll see you really soon in the next video. Till then, may your God go with you. Thank you so much. Night, night. Lorna, on Sunday, we're doing every Sunday. I'll be doing a live at 11 o'clock Spanish time, which is 10 o'clock English time. And it's just going to be some positivity. Anyone who needs any prayers or good thoughts, and it's not a religious thing. It's, it's just positive vibes. It don't matter what your religion is. It don't matter who you pray to. It's just prayer. At the end of the day, it shouldn't be to, in my opinion anyway, you just pray to your God, don't you? To who you believe in, to what you believe in. If you don't believe in any God, then you're just sending it out to the universe, aren't you? Just asking for help, good thoughts, positive vibes for anybody who needs it. That's what it's going to be. Okay, so I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God always go with you. Bye. And justice for Rachel. Oh, and don't forget to like and share and subscribe. Thank you.